Welcome to TARTLEcast with your hosts Alexander McKegg and Jason Rigby, where humanity steps into the future and source data defines the path.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of TARTLEcast with your co-founder, Alexander McKegg, and co-host,
Jason Rigby.
Now, Jason, replay again, because if everyone knows, we have to record this twice, because it failed a couple times. You are the marketing advisor for TARTLE.
Wow. Yeah. I'm excited.
Welcome. I'm bestowing you on the camera right now.
I know. This is the first time for us all.
Third time for us all. Because
do I get in reference to what we're fixing to talk about? Is there do I get like a bouquet of data or?
Oh yeah, you get a data bouquet. Fantastic. You've also won a free car.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining the board.
Thank you, Oprah.
Yeah. You have deep expertise in online marketing.
Right.
Okay. You would consider yourself extremely relevant.
Right.
With what's going on. And you've brought to my attention that there is a buzzword.
Yeah, a social trend actually going on Twitter. Yeah.
Social trend. Thank you very much for cleaning that up for me. And that frame of word is called a data packet. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, right now, and I know a lot of people can do it. You could go on Twitter. YouTube has some videos on it too. But if you hashtag data packet, there's a lot of different discussion on that. And I felt like you being the expert in that arena, if you would explain exactly.
Why do you got to flatter me like that?
No, but I want people to understand, because it's going to, when you explain it, because you already explained it once before, because we recorded this.
Because we already recorded it.
But I didn't realize how valuable it was and what is happening in the world with this on data packets until you explain it right.
Great. Okay, so the first thing,
this is like
the first thing we want to talk about, folks, is the fact that a data packet is picture yourself like a little cube, right? And you're packing information into this cube. So these cubes, right, these packets get shifted back and forth between your computer lines, right? Information, it's stored on servers.
Like when we stream Netflix or whatever, that's a data packet coming to us.
It takes little pieces of data packets, one by one after another, right?
Right.
And it will send those back and forth, and that gets piped through the entire network across the globe, right? As a data packet. And that can either house quantitative information, numbers, or qualitative things that are accountable for what we use for our own alphabet, right? For describing words and other factors like that. And so all of these data packets, right, have been aggregated by all these companies and stored, right, in these huge data vaults, right, large servers, and they've been collecting it over and over and over, and they've kind of been hoarding it. Because to them, it's like the new oil. It's a new type of resource, right? But these data packets are being created through the terms of what these companies are deciding. So
it would be like Fort Knox and gold bars.
Like Fort Knox and gold bars.
Right. And so those gold bars are sitting there on a pallet.
Right.
And each of those gold bars is a human.
Right.
Basically.
That's exactly right. Right. And so now I want you to envision this in your mind, right? The data packet as a physical thing now that you are creating, like a pallet within Jason's warehouse.
Right.
And Jason's warehouse has all these different pallets that have data packets packed into them that define who you are, right? Now, you're the one in that warehouse that decides the value of that product, right? Because if you're going to go out and sell your own product and your supply chain into other vendors, well, you want to have a good price that works for you. Otherwise, you're not in the business of trading that information.
Because if I'm an actor in a movie, hopefully someday. But
I'd hope so.
We are in New Mexico.
Yeah.
But if I'm an actor in a movie and it's going to be me acting, I would presume that I would get paid for that.
Right. For that work, right? For that creation of whatever it is you are making. Right. So these data packets, which can be infinitesimally small or extremely large, the determinants of its value should be dependent on you. But for all this time, these larger corporations have been determining the value and then deciding what needs to be done with that value and how much or if any should be given back to the public or the people that are creating it, right? So like Facebook, Google, all those larger firms that aggregate so much information.
Right, constantly.
They're the resource-heavy people. They have control of the resources. And they've been collecting this information on you and then deeming where those resources get used and spent.
But they're collecting it and exploiting us.
Right.
Because what you explained earlier, off the camera, we were talking about this. Explain the exploiting part.
Yeah, so exploitation. We've exploited human beings many times throughout history, okay? Now, whether they are being exploited for labor, right, or other fashions that we don't need to talk about on here, that there is something about that has a value to it, right? So now we've just found a way to exploit the data that people are creating, not necessarily the labor. You could say there's a labor to it, but the data that they create is being exploited for the value of only one person. And it's not you, the person who's actually creating it, right? Like if you're sowing the seeds in a field, you should be the one that should reap the benefits of those crops.
If you're going to go and collect these gold bars and then you're going to put them on all these pallets in this big Fort Knox warehouse, and then you get nothing for that.
Yeah,
and then all those pallets of gold bars belong to this large corporation.
Right, and then they think that they own what you have created, right? And then where's the determinant of where the resources go? Shouldn't you have the say?
Right.
You're the end user of everything, right? So the power symmetry is off. So this data packet, this new type of oil that we have, that's what we need to focus on. We need to stack our data packets on the pallets in our warehouse, and we need to start choosing where those things that decide this is Jason, this is who he is, chosen by me, not a company deciding who I am, right?
Right.
Or someone who collects that info, and then I get to give it to the vendor. I choose the price. I decide when it wants to go. And that's what TARTLE does. TARTLE gives people the option to use those data packets, compile them as much as you want, put that labor and creativity into it, and then you determine that value, and you control it, and you keep it encrypted and safe because you're the only person that has the key to that warehouse.
But I think it's just fair business, too.
Well, shouldn't it be fair?
Yeah.
Things should be based
on Commerce should be fair.
It should be fair. It should not be a zero-sum game. It should be a win-win scenario for both. And this can happen, where you can still be a profit-based company, a larger company like Facebook or Google or Microsoft, any of those people, Palantir, but you can share those profits with the people that are actually creating the information, rather than take the information from them, right, and then determine what's going on with their lives. That's an exploitation of that factor, right? I'm not trying to be combative. I'm talking about a stance of moral and ethical high ground, right, to show that there should be a balance and equanimity in how we actually function and do our businesses within the United States and the rest of the globe.
And this is important because we have to realize we're just came into this. This is almost an experiment.
It is almost an experiment.
So we have to get these laws.
Yeah.
And we have to get this right ethically.
Yeah. And it's shown through TARTLE, right? Because people are buying and selling information on this exchange, that when you start with these higher principles, right? This moral ground to do a greater good beyond yourself, not being profit driven, but trying to put a balance back to what the more humane aspect of people are, that makes money.
Right.
And it does a fantastic job doing it. So there's no reason why you have to be profit incentived and say that it's a zero-sum game. That's an old model that doesn't need to work anymore.
Right.
So now we can focus on using this new sort of experiment, these data packets, these transacting of things that we create, this infinitesimally large amount of wealth that we generate every single day. And now we can say that, okay, having this base, these principles, and the fact that businesses, specifically TARTLE, can work in this function, other people can take that model and start using it too.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I love that.
So I hope that works for the data packets and kind of clears things up.
Yes, we're going to hashtag data packets.
Data packets.
We're going to hashtag gold, exploitation.
Exploitation, labor
our
laws.
last video, we had mushrooms instead of gold, but I switched it up.
Yeah, I'm glad we cut that out. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to get into mushrooms.
Gold bars is a lot better on that one.
Well, we can hashtag. What would be like with gold? People that exchange gold back and forth, like a gold exchange or something. We'll have to do that.
Yeah, we'll do like a little gold exchange.
Like Kitco or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
We'll just throw hashtags.
But with those exchanges, we determine the price now.
Yes.
Right? You determine your price.
Well, even then, when you look at exchanging currency like that, let's just use that for an example. There's an exchange. They may determine the price of what they're willing to pay for it, but you have that physical property, and then you're selling that.
And it's interesting. They determine the price, and then you choose if you want to buy it.
Yes.
Here's the thing with TARTLE. You determine the price, and you choose if you want to sell it. Put all that power back to you. And that's what's important, right? Because you've been stripped of that power for a very long time, since the creation of the internet, Tim Berners-Lee, all those other things. Now it's back in your hands, and it's for you to make that choice. You now have the responsibility and the power to do so.
And that's what TARTLE's about, putting the power back into the people.
Right. And I challenge people, listen, if any of these things even remotely align with you and your ethics and what you do, try it.
And how do they try it?
Go to tartle.co, TARTLE.co, and there's a big button on there. You can't miss it. You'd have to be blind. Right. No offense to blind people, you have to be blind.
We're hashtagging that.
Yeah, we're hashtagging blind. And you click on that, and within 15 seconds, you can be signed up on the system, and you can fill out your data packets and start to reap the benefits of that data creation.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Jason.
Well, perfect. Thanks, Alex. That one was, I thought...
Thank you for listening to TARTLEcast with your hosts Alexander McKegg and Jason Rigby, where humanity steps into the future and source data defines the path. What's your data worth?